Hello, and we're joined by Tony Harris, President and CEO of eMagic Inc., a visionary leader whose work in industrial IoT and digital twin technologies is reshaping industries from energy to infrastructure. Originally from Guyana and now based in Toronto, Tony has spent over 2 decades building cutting-edge digital solutions that empower smarter, more sustainable operations. His recent joint venture with West Coast Gas Ghana is a bold step toward transparency and local empowerment in Guyana's oil and gas sector. Tony, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to
Good.
be here.
Thanks. Before we begin the official interview, I do have some rapid fire questions for you. And it's really for us to get to know you and for our audience. Do you mind?
Not at all.
Okay, let's start with the first question. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned as a founder of such a great company, eMagic? What's one valuable lesson you've learned?
There's so many, but I think the most important thing, the most important thing you learn as you grow is to say no, but no more often than yes, because it consumes your time with lots of things. But I think that from a business perspective, it's one of listening to your customers and focusing on your customers, because you can build a company organically like we've done by looking at your customers' issues, getting feedback from your customers, giving them what they need, and then they become great references for you for the next customers and the next and the next and the next. So that would be my first go-to answer for that.
Saying no is still hard for me.
It is tough.
Lucky for us, you didn't tell us no. So that's great. My next question is, if you could mentor every young Guyanese entrepreneur for 60 seconds, 1 minute, what would you say to them?
I would say to them, a lot of people starting a business think that they need a lot of money to start with. Okay.
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of business schools teach that and so on. But I think that what they should focus on is acquiring customers. Customers are the most important. Acquiring customers, trying to put some sweat into making something for their customers.
Right.
And that's the equivalent of the financing dollars that they might be missing to get started. You know, there are some industries that are very capital intensive, but if you're looking at software, AI, and these kinds of things, it's a lot of human, intellectual, and human equity in terms of work that is being put into the effort. So, but most people, when they think of business, they think, oh, I've got to go out and raise so much money to do it. So I think people should try to not do that at first. See what they can do without raising a lot of capital.
Okay, and my last rapid fire question, what's your go-to way to recharge after a long day of leading innovation? And I know you just got back from Norway and you're already in the Cape Breton side there. So how do you unwind after days like that?
People who know me know that I like to have a nice glass of wine with dinner, and that's a good way. That's a very good way to unwind. I'll leave it at that.
You'll leave it at that? Okay.
I mean, from a sports perspective, I play a lot of squash. That's my favorite sport. I watch a lot of soccer.
Okay, so you're asking
Football is my sport, yeah.
Football American or football?
No, I'm talking real football.
Oh.
European football. We're
Okay.
talking the one you play with your feet.
So, Tony, I want to talk a little bit of, eMagic, TwinWorks, you're so many things, digital twin creation, real-time monitoring, predictive analytics, optimization. Can you pull all this together and tell us about eMagic and what you do and how it comes together? Because it's technical, and maybe simplify it for our audience.
The best way for me to describe what we do is we work in what's called asset-intensive industries. We have 4 primary markets. One is smart buildings, smart healthcare, infrastructure, as well as manufacturing. And we would look at these facilities like a building, for instance, okay? And we are now able to take all the subsystems in that building, connect to them. So that includes like the HVAC system, the elevators, the escalators, the fire and security, the network, all these systems, EV chargers, all of them. And we replicate them digitally in the computer, and we connect them to sensors that are out there. So typically, many systems today are siloed. Like the HVAC system is one system. The fire and security is another system. The occupancy data is a different system. We bring all of that together, representing what's in the field. And once we have that data, what we do with it that our customers can see is that we're able to build dashboards so that they can operate the facility, so they can operate on what's called a single pane of glass. That means that they can see all their subsystems, electrical subsystems, escalators, elevators I spoke to you about before, all on one screen. and actually control the environment. That's the human operator. Secondly, because we have all of this data all at once, we can make decisions between different systems. So like in a building, for instance, we can look at the occupancy of a floor in a building, and we can say, if there's no one on the floor in this building, because we're connected to the occupancy sensors, then reduce the airflow to that floor through the HVAC system, and reduce the lighting to that floor because we're connected to the lighting system. But you couldn't do that before because the lighting was separate from the HVAC, which is different from the occupancy. Right. So that's one level of decisions that we can make. Then we can take all that data and run AI on it continuously in real time and use historical and current to do things like predictive maintenance, to reduce the cost of energy that is being used, and so on. First, you replicate what's in the field, you connect to everything that's in the field, you build dashboards, you allow the people to operate it. Then you can have workflows across the different subsystems and data, including AI workflows, which are analyzing that data in real time to make decisions. And there's two ways in which the AI can deliver, and you may ask this question later, but the AI can suggest things to the users, or the AI can work autonomously as an agent to make decisions and actually do things automatically.
Really? So let's stay on the AI topic, because this is really what we're here to talk about. Technology, software. Tell us about the software and the technology you are using. Is it developed by yourself or Microsoft, or how is that coming together then?
So the question you asked is what AI we use. Now, most of what you read today about AI is generative AI because of ChatGPT and Claude and these kinds of systems. But there's many different forms of AI. ChatGPT and those large language models are not suitable for automatic industrial control. Okay, because as you know, they have hallucinations, they say the wrong thing at different times, and a human has to go through the result to decide if they're good. Okay, so what they're good for is, like, for instance, coming back to practical examples. Remember, I said that our system can look at all this data continuously, and it'll say, for instance, you have a problem in this facility because the filter in an air handling unit is blocked. Okay.
Right.
Now with generative AI, you can say, okay, well, show me which filter is it and show me how to fix it. AI will show you how to do that. And that's generative AI. But now when we come to controlling that air handling unit, okay, we use deep reinforced learning techniques to build a simulation of the process and then train the AI module on that simulation as to how to control the real process. And that's not ChatGPT.
No.
That is something completely different. In that model is embedded skills as to how to expertly operate that facility. So you expertly operate it, you train it on a simulator, and now it can deliver the results on the real process. So that's a simple way of explaining.
No, and Tony, I used to be a computer programmer, so I know what you're talking about. I get it. I absolutely get it.
Great.
I know. And when people talk about AI, they're only talking about what you said, Claude, Copilot, and that, but it's way beyond that. Those are the
way beyond that.
It's way beyond that. I totally get it. And I like how you simplify it and you explain what it is you actually do. And the fact that you took us back a little bit in history, because people think AI just was last year or the year before it was born, but it's actually going way before that.
Way before.
Guyana is going through major transformations, as we all know. How do you see this AI coming into Guyana?
AI is a great enabler today for many across the board, okay?
Right.
And I would say that people should start with the generative AI because that's easily accessible, which is like the OpenAI, ChatGPT, and so on. Because in everything that you do, it helps a human to up their skill level in terms of what they're able to deliver. So AI can help with research. AI can help with analyzing documents. I mean, if you get sophisticated in terms of building agents and so on, it can help with setting meetings and investigating various things for you. So I would say generative AI is very useful across the board. And it's something that everyone should be using. I know a lot of people are fearful that AI will replace them. There are some jobs that AI will replace, but the key thing is not so much. I often read that AI is not replacing people, but that AI will replace people who don't use AI.
I agree. I totally agree.
Okay, so a person can use AI, or institutions can use AI as co-pilots, as to help them with their tasks and their work, to make them better at what they do and more efficient. We use a lot of AI in our company now with our software developers, use AI to help create software. But we have not replaced any software developers. They're just more efficient using AI.
Yeah. When it comes to data, I'd like to expand a little bit on it. And how do you ensure it's used ethically in your environment? Is any concerns around that area?
Well, there's lots of issues around data, cybersecurity, and all these types of things. Okay, and if you read the boilerplate, when they build these large language modules, they have to scrub the data, they have to classify it, and all these things before they train the models. Okay, in our case, our data is not leaked to the public because it is bounded. Okay, in our environment, there are guardrails around it. So even the models that we use, that data stays in there. This is very important for our customers. Even in if we have an enterprise customer that's based in Asia, the Americas, as well as EMEA, Europe, they have different tenants in terms of different subscriptions for their software in these areas, so they don't leak out into each other. Okay, so our protections with data is one where we put a moat around the application. So it's not like when you go on the your chat GPT interface in your browser where you're actually feeding OpenAI. No, it is very closed. Everything is closed. That data does not leak out.
So if let's say you work with my company, my data would be my company alone. It's not disseminated.
No, it doesn't mix. And from how we deliver solutions, because we have on-prem solutions as well as cloud-based solutions, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And with the cloud-based solutions for enterprise customers, they don't run in our tenant. Like if we look at Microsoft and Azure, okay, they don't have to run in our tenant. We can run in their tenant. So when we put our software in their tenant, their entire cybersecurity posture is supported within our, by our application. So there's no issues.
And that comes back to the trust factor you talked about earlier. Because if I know I can trust you with my data and it's retained at home, that's a big trust feature for your clients.
It is. And people are very concerned, and they should be concerned today about your data leaking out into the public.
Let me ask you the next question. What do you see as the biggest opportunity for AI in Guyana over the next 5 years?
It's so wide, Rita. It is wide. Every industry. I'd like to leave it open rather than being one thing. Because every industry has an opportunity. Education, there's an opportunity. Industrial, financial, fighting fraud with AI. It is so wide that I just say go for it, a small project at a time in all industries. Okay, because when the internet first started, I was in Canada, and I said, this is a great equalizer for the developing countries because now they can leapfrog. Okay, it didn't quite happen that way, but AI can help with this because it can make everything more efficient. I think that people should find organizations that they can trust to work with. No big projects to start with. Start on small projects, looking for specific ROIs on those projects using AI, and then build out from them. The idea is to get started, and to get started with small projects. And it's across the board. There's no industry that's being left behind by AI today.
I could talk to you forever. I really want to get your take on, with Saudi becoming a fully digital country by 2030. But I know we have like 3 minutes, but can you maybe tap into that just for 1 minute and, indulge me? What's your take on that? Like a whole country, the whole Middle East.
I think it's fantastic. It's absolutely necessary. Look, you walk into a government office in Guyana, they can't even find your land deed. Okay. Okay. You try to renew your passport. It's a problem. All of these things are being fixed, and I love it, okay? Because in the developed world, a lot is digital. You go to an airport today, you're not even using your passport. It just scans your face and you walk into the countries. These are all things that are needed. Increases efficiency, it attracts capital. All of these kinds of things is what's being enabled by it. So I fully endorse that. Go digital.
I just want to turn to Aldercy or Rita. Do you have any final questions? Because Tony he only has another couple of minutes left with us. Any questions from either of you?
I'm all right, but it's like really captivating to speak with Tony because he's delved directly into AI. So it's like the passion is there and it's really teaching you a lot more. That's just my comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Aldercy. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys inviting me.
I came on a little late, so I have no questions, but it really was informative for the short period that I was listening to you. Yeah, I really appreciate you joining us, and thank you for being here and letting us know a little more on this.
No problem. I'm happy to.
We really appreciate your passion for innovation. It comes through hugely, and so full of energy, and your commitment to building a future that includes and uplifts everyone, especially in Guyana. So thank you, Tony. We'll be in touch. And we will get together
Thank you.
back in October.
Absolutely. Have a good day, guys, okay?
Have a good
Take
day.
care.
You too. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.